This Gnosis. I have free will. I have agency and eyes. I saw it. Even my alerts are yelling at Gnosis. Thank you for 131 months. What's up, folks? How are you? I'm something. Yeah. Work. I was wrapping up doing some stuff to help out my coworker, actually. He had a well, it's hard to put like a yeah, on a holiday. Nothing matters. Who cares about anything? Fucking shut up. He had a sort of, I don't know, he didn't check in. He lost stuff. So it happens to the best of us. So I was trying to get that closer to the finish line for him. Because I have more context on the project and the boilerplate being used for the project and yada yada. I can kind of jump in and get a bunch done quickly. Nice, Bugs. Oh, sorry for my outburst there. I feel like it should be plain and clear by this point that I am a worthless workaholic. And despite, whatever my beliefs are or whatever, around that sort of thing, that doesn't really change the reality of what it is that I do or don't do or have to deal with or not or whatever with respect to my job. It just sort of is what it is, and I hate going in that circle. I can't get by without workahol. It's the sort of the trouble with it all is like we're all trapped in this sort of collapsing empire, an economy that is based on servitude to the intensely rich, the permanently rich, to a degree that like it kind of doesn't really matter what the fuck any of us individuals do. We're all forced to fucking essentially kill ourselves working to survive, contradictorily or ironically, or however fuck you want to fucking, like, you have to kill yourself to live, is the system we've set up. So that's just what it is. I definitely do too much shit. And I definitely too often find myself feeling like I don't have time for anything else in life but to work. That is how it's been of late. But I have been putting a lot of efforts, can't speak now, a lot of efforts in the direction of trying to alleviate that. We have our 2 new contractors this past week started, and I'm hopeful for their integration into the team. A wider efforts. Yeah. Those videos are pretty funny, though, at least. I wish I had more time for CS, Dave. I definitely enjoyed that the other day. I'd love to play more. As I have said, if another stack happens, you know, my only real locked down nights are Sunday for Sunday Gun Day with that crew, and then the occasional Enjoyers Committee, but the rest of my evenings are essentially unscheduled, 9 to midnight. So at any rate, yeah, I mean, one of the things I highlighted in our little Doom channel today was the way that what's his name? It's like Pichai, the CEO of Google, current CEO of Google. The way he talks about it is that we are all too fucking stupid to understand all of this incredible change. And that's, I think, indicative of like what is going on with these people. And I think it's been knowable for a long time now too, because like this is Peter Thiel is like he was the prototype of this, where it's like he 1,000,000% believes himself to be a demigod. He does not view himself as another human. He doesn't have any solidarity with the rest of us. He believes that he is some sort of like demigod walking the earth type, you know, separate from the rest of us kind of situation. And a lot of these motherfuckers also think the same way about themselves and their peers in Silicon Valley. It's really weird. I didn't used to believe that this sort of stuff was true because it sounded too conspiratorial to me. But the more that's come out in recent times about like the private chats and the insane fucking philosophies and manifestos and essentially like cult-like stuff is insane. It's fucking insane. Night night bugs. Yeah, they are indeed out of touch with reality. I mean, what they're basically doing is they're mining. It's sort of cannibalizing its own industry, is what's happening, right? Because like, I think the vast majority of people don't use any of this stuff. But there are a fuck ton of, you know, like phone installs and whatever. I don't know. I guess ChatGPT installs are probably pretty massive, right? Yeah, I can't go after midnight, Dave. I have to be like winding down. Midnight is when Nakomi and I have our evening hanging out, possibly late dinner, watching TV time before we hit the hay, you know? Yeah. Yeah. That's the shit that's been, like, the most aggravating about it, Grinder. Is, like, why it doesn't even exist as, like, a separate thing. Because it's coming back and being forced into and or replacing all the other things. Or at least that's what Google has done to us. Like, we couldn't just keep it separate from the search, which search had already been fucking degrading anyway, because, you know, they got rid of the smart people at Google. But the fact that now that's taking over the search, like, the search is dead. It's finally dead. And this is the, you know, this is the final nail in the coffin, basically. They're replacing it with a chat box. And it's in the fucking email, and it's in every fucking thing. Like, just leave this other shit alone. Can't you just leave this other shit alone and just have your fucking chat box? But they can't, because, like, in Google's case, they have to ram it down your throat in every fucking way that they can. Like, I think that they know that users are avoiding it. Like, a lot of users are avoiding it and don't use it. And just like with everything else that they've done, they have these platforms, you know, like, this was the way that, like, ads were propagated, right? Like, they're forced into everything that they had available, everything that had user eyeballs, user interaction. So of course they're going to use everything that they have in front of people to, you know, deploy this stuff. And that's the same with the AI, you know, where they're like, you'll be able to talk to your email, you know, like, shut the fuck up. Which is why I fucking migrated entirely off of Gmail after, Jesus, more than, or right around 20 years. I think more than 20 years. I was on Gmail. I have completely emptied my Gmail. It is just an empty inbox now. I'm completely migrating everything the fuck off. The only thing that's really going to be left of me that has anything to do with Google will be my YouTube channel, which my YouTube channel has been whittled down now to just Coesquest and things closely related to Coesquest. But honestly, I'm of a mind to delete all that shit too. I mean, back when, you know, I made Coesquest, I didn't consent to having my voice stripped from the videos to be used to make some fucking, you know, soundboard or whatever, etc. You know, like, I didn't consent to any of this modern bullshit that we're being subjected to. It does make me want to just delete the channel too. Genuine step-by-step help. My recommendation would be to spend money. That's what I did, although I had already been spending money. I have a Fastmail account. And what I did was I migrated my Gmail over to that. So I set up a new email using one of my domains. Fastmail has a lot of very useful automated Gmail to Fastmail migration stuff. And that's what I did. And then I deleted everything out of my Gmail. I set it up to forward to my new email. And that's that. All of my old Gmail will forward to my new email. And I'm done with my Gmail. I'm not going to use it anymore. And a lot of email providers will have migration stuff for getting you from Gmail to them. I think Start Mail is a recommended one, possibly. Yes. So my migration was full context preserved. So all the dates, all the labels, whether they were important or not. There's only a couple of things that didn't one-to-one align between Gmail and Fastmail, and I don't remember what they were. I don't think they were particularly important. I can't speak for the details of other platforms migration stuff, but I would imagine that it should be similar. But yeah, I feel really glad that I have been moving towards taking control of my own data and migrating everything local and just in general doing bits and pieces of preserving my own privacy where I can, here, there, and everywhere. I haven't used Google for search for some time now. I run my own instance of searching locally. SEARXNG, which does a sort of dogpile search. It's configurable. You can do what you can set it up how you like, but it runs locally, and then it pulls from various search engines. Like I just searched, for example, and it gave me results from Brave, Quant, Google, DuckDuckGo, Start Page, Wikipedia. So I don't have to use any of them directly. And this gives me more control over, like I could exclude Google, for instance, if I don't want them to have any sort of tracking or involvement in any of my searches going forward, that sort of thing. And I'm actually curious how this is going to behave. I think that this is using like search API stuff, so this might actually be circumventing the new chat box version of Google search as well, as a sort of side bonus. But yeah, fuck all these bastards. Fuck them forever. Fuck the Empire. Yeah. The next thing I'm working on is trying to do some sort of privacy stuff for my phone. What I've settled on for the moment is a separate line via a provider called Freely, which was interesting to me. You can sign up without giving them any information about yourself other than a zip code +4. Hell yeah. Nice, Grinder. Actually, wait, what do you mean, no P.O. box? What does that mean? I have, I did get the mail BFA. I need to open that up. I don't know if they allow a P.O. box or not, but I mean, when we're talking about privacy, a zip +4 is like pretty private. Well, or is it? Right? I think the +4 is pretty specific, isn't it? I guess what I would say is the zip +4 is not tied to you at all. Whereas a P.O. box definitely is. I watched that old video by God, I always get his last name wrong. Ben Jordan, that he made regarding vinyl, and I just don't. I'm always on the fence with it because basically they are vinyl is essentially toxic as fuck. But I don't want to not have it. I don't know what to do with that. Comma, well, comma. It does smack of like nothing is safe, nothing is okay, everything is bad. Yeah, I know, but also I just have this feeling of like I have this wall of vinyl behind me and I'm just thinking like, is it actively killing me? How long do I have? I need to get like I need to get some air quality testing equipment. You have 1.2 thousand. Woo! Okay. I mean, I'm silly then. I'm a silly guy. You have 1.2 thousand? Man, you are a record store. That's crazy. That's crazy, crazy. Yeah, fair enough. It may as well be something that you love. That's definitely looking on the bright side. That's crazy, man. What a wild collection. Segment or one side of a street. Okay. So it's not perfectly specific. Not even rice. Somehow we like organically landed on a Mitch Hedberg joke. Mitch Hedberg jokes are naturally occurring. Anyway, that's the only piece of information they collect from you. Oh God, yeah. What size chest do you do? Do you do like the 80? I don't even know. God, with that many, that would be so fucking many chests, dude. What the fuck? Oh. It never crossed my mind that Arch wouldn't come with like a calculator. There's a gnome calculator. Oh no. Is there a KDE calculator? Oh man. I was looking for a calculator and there's basically the gnome one and it's not rated real good. There's the KDE one and it's not rated real good. And then there was something called Awesome Calculator that is rated very good, and it's got a rainbow background and it says Awesome Calculator on it in Comic Sans. it's got it's got emojis indicating the first number, and I think the numbers are drop downs. They're not even, you can't enter numbers. And then there's a drop down for the operator, and then there's a drop down for the second number. It was made with Godot and has a picture of fruit in it. Oh man. I don't think I'm gonna I'm not gonna I don't think I'm gonna install this calculator. This calculator definitely installs some sort of a crypto mining thing in the background. I feel it. Yep, that would be the one. That would be the one. I'm just gonna install the KDE calculator. I go to the gnome calculator and I scroll down. I'm in the fucking Discover store thing, right? And the quote that is showing on the reviews widget thing says, "Doesn't work on Gnome Fedora." Signed, Barry. Okay, Barry. Have you tried the Gnome calculator? Does it work on Gnome Fedora? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Those were so long ago. I'll probably never play 7 Days to Die ever again, I would imagine. Yeah, I was going to say, if you had like 80 records per chest, that's a lot of chests. That's 15. I mean, there's definitely no point in ripping vinyl, right? Vinyl is always going to be subpar to what we have available to us today. uh, I'm I'm like a vinyl realist, or I'm honest about my vinyl collecting. I don't do it because I think it sounds better. Just like it. Yep. The Contact featuring Jodie Foster, also known as the Jodie. Yeah, it's a similar situation with CRTs. Although that said, I believe there are some things that CRTs are still better at. There's this obviously, we have much better display technology in the general case. So I'm not saying CRTs are good, but there are certain display situations where they are still pretty damn good. Oh yeah, I wasn't saying I don't think vinyl sounds bad. I just don't think it sounds better. that's that's all I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Bandcamp sort of rocks. Didn't they get bought Yeah. That's the thing is I think it's just a matter of like recognizing what it is that you enjoy about a thing. And I agree with that, BFA. It's similar to like why I like physical video games as opposed to, like, yes, it is possible today to basically snap your fingers and have like every ROM of every game that came out before 2004 or whatever almost instantaneously. And yet, something about that just doesn't compel me to play the games. Whereas I really enjoy the tactile experience of putting the game in and firing up the console and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, books as well. I like, though, to mix and match. CRTs are dim in general? This is an interesting take. I have never really had the impression or feeling that CRTs are dim. They tend to be quite the opposite, given that they are a gun that is shooting light directly into your eyes in a way that modern monitors are not. So I'm a bit confused on that one. I think that the storage issues are like kind of overblown. I've talked about this before where people always bring up disk rot. Constantly people bring up disk rot. And I don't know what other people are doing, but I have a fuck ton of video games that are on disk. And I have not yet found one that's got disk rot. And I've found, I mean, many of these are randomly bought from eBay, found in thrift stores. Like a lot of these were like literally trash that I collected. And I just don't encounter this stuff. To the point where it almost seems mythical to me. I believe that it's a thing. But I've just not ever seen it. I think it's kind of overblown. I honestly, what I truly think is I think a lot of people don't really take good care of stuff. Or something in a way that I can't fathom. Because, like, the stuff that I have, it's basically the same as when I found it. And other than, like, dusting, I could dust more. Generally, I keep the stuff as it is, or as it was. And I don't know. It's weird to me. It's weird, weird, weird. Well, you see, you say that, and you tacked on Tenosis, which is known for having issues. 0 of my Dreamcast games have this issue. Well, no, actually, I think I have experienced an issue there, now that you mention it. I'm not sure if my original Shenmue reads. So maybe that is the one example I have in my collection of stuff. But I think that there was something specifically wrong with Shenmue, if I recall. It had some sort of a pressing issue. I do have I have a PC Engine. Yeah, I believe there was a whole fuck up at launch. Even I think I was subject to it. I think I got a bunch of games that just didn't work at launch when I got my Dreamcast. That was due to that. Alrighty, well, folks, I've gone over a little bit, but I need to wrap things up and get out of here. But as always, it's good chatting with y'all. Sorry for the short stream, but I just, I was pulling my hair out doing some other stuff. But yeah, have a good night. Thanks for hanging with me. And I will see you next stream.